Good morning, everyone. I just want to thank you for being a part of our final professional development of the year as we are looking towards the future and really thinking about areas of improvement and where can we uh, turn our attention to. I think the priority going into our school year is going to be our PLCs, our professional learning communities. And so today I'm going to kick things off with an introduction to our PLCs and what exactly do we mean when we say PLC? What do we expect? What are the expectations there? And so just looking forward to walking through these next few slides with you and just sort of hopefully putting together a good vision for our campus and how we can grow together as a community. So first of all, a PLC is a team of teachers who work together regularly to ensure students are learning at high levels. And really, it's all about collaboration. Oftentimes, we think of collaboration, as just sharing materials, but we're also talking about analyzing what works and what doesn't work. The focus, as we're going to discuss as we get into the four most important questions, is always on student learning and not just individual preference. So PLCs are going to require us to bring our evidence, which is going to be in the form of data. And not only that, but maybe more importantly, a willingness for us as teachers to adjust our instruction. So when PLCs are done well, they do create alignment and equity across the classrooms. Of course, the main question of why PLCs matter, well, quite clearly, they help ensure every student receives a consistent, high quality instruction, no matter who the teacher is. Um, they allow us to share ideas and strategies, best practices that improve learning. And so when teachers collaborate, the entire system becomes more effective. I was just looking up a video by Rick DeFore, who we're going to be speaking about a little bit more later in this presentation. But he did discuss an international study by the McKinsey Group that looked at some of the highest performing school systems in the world. And the one commonality that those systems have is that they understand that a system can only be as good as the people within it. And so I know it's sort of the old saying, you're only as good as the sum of the parts, but it really does ring true. And so PLCs, in that regard, they reduce teacher isolation. They kind of force teachers to take off the blinders and create a supportive environment for professional growth. Ultimately, they contribute to stronger student outcomes, and of course, that contributes to school-wide improvement. So, as I mentioned earlier, there are four essential questions that are related to PLCs, and we're going to be focusing on these. They should be guiding every conversation, every PLC, and that will help us to stay aligned to student learning, and rather than just defaulting to side topics or conversations, which I can be guilty of at times myself. So when we commit to these questions, when we make this our goal of every PLC meeting, then PLCs will become uh, purposeful rather than just some routine. So we're going to go over these questions together. We're going to see how they help us move from discussion to action and how they ensure that what we talk about will lead to improved instruction and, as a result, better results. First question, it's what do we want our students to learn? So this question really asks us to define the essential knowledge and skills that our students must master, and it forces us to look closely at the standards and to decide which ones are the most critical. You could even use this in backward design, looking at the finished result and seeing what we're mastering, and then going from there and planning accordingly. But agreeing on what mastery looks like, that really ensures the consistency across the classrooms. And without that clarity, without direction on what we expect our students to learn, everything else would just become guesswork. So this is really the foundation of all PLC work. Question number 2, how will we know they learned it? Well, once we define the learning expectations, we need a way to measure them. And so common assessments allow us to see how students are performing across the grade level. Of course, this data helps us understand which strategies worked, maybe which ones need some adjusting. It also gives us early, signals of whether students are on track. And again, frequent and aligned assessments are going to keep instruction focused and really intentional. I think that really has to be the underlying theme of our PLCs is are we being intentional with what we're doing? And the data sort of helps tell that story. Question 3, how will we respond when they don't learn? This is very important. This is very important because, no matter how strong our instruction is, some students will need more support. So this question is about creating timely and targeted interventions. Instead of reteaching everything, we're going to zoom in on the specific skills students are struggling with. What strategies can we use, whether we're spiraling them back into the lesson somehow or an exit ticket or whatever it is. But teams, we're going to share strategies. We'll group our students accordingly. We'll plan for additional time and support. The goal is to ensure every student gets the opportunity to succeed and not just the ones who learn quickly. Question 4, it says, how will we extend learning? So, just as some students struggle, others master content quickly, and those students may need more of a challenge. So that's kind of where, enrichment comes in. Enrichment, should push students to deeper levels of thinking and not just give them extra worksheets. PLCs, we can work together to create extension opportunities that keep advanced learners engaged. This ensures all students grow, not just those who need intervention. I mean, it's really, we have to be balanced for those who are maybe, needing a little more time and those who are, learning much quicker. So strong PLCs, they plan for enrichment just as intentionally as they plan for remediation. Now, we have a little activity here. We're going to watch a video. This is called a not so effective use of PLC time. And you'll see in the video, and this is going to be an activity, our group activity that we're going to be doing, really more of a partner activity, where we're going to watch this video, take a few minutes to discuss things that, may have gone well, things that may not have gone well, the good, the bad, the ugly. And so when we're done with watching this video, we will go over some of the do's, some of the don'ts, and there is a lot of humor sprinkled in there, and some of it may be a little painful because it's relatable, but this is all in good fun. So we're going to watch this, and we will talk about some of the things that we have seen from this video. Okay, so now that we've watched the video and have had a chance to talk about it very quickly, let's look at some of the obvious things, some of the don'ts. And some of these were definitely in this video. Some of them are just add-ons, but very quickly, it says to don't turn the meeting into a complaint session. I'll tell you, to be honest, I think teachers are some of the most talented complainers in the world, and I don't mean that as a slight because I've been there as well. But we want to avoid blaming students, parents, or administrators. We want to focus on the things that we can control, and that's our instruction, that's our feedback, supports. Don't show up empty-handed. If you don't have data, you don't have a discussion. So coming unprepared is going to waste the team time. It limits progress. Don't drift off topic. We need to avoid conversations about schedules or field trips, unrelated campus issues. And we need to keep conversations aligned with student learning and outcomes. We don't want to rely on anecdotes instead of data. I mean, statements, things like, my kids didn't get it. That's not enough. We need to use numbers, examples, student work to support our insights. This is a big one. Don't work in isolation. So planning lessons or assessments alone really undermines the PLC alignment. I mean, think about that. We have the word community in a PLC, so you can't be an island. Refusing to collaborate will also lead to inconsistent expectations for students. So it's a trickle-down effect. Don't be defensive about your teaching. Again, PLCs are not to evaluate, they're to collaborate. And defensiveness, that's going to block growth, and that's going to limit honest dialogue between colleagues. We don't want to rush through decisions. Quick decisions lead to unclear expectations and weak implementation. So, alignment requires time, discussion, clarity. Sometimes it might take a little time to work things out, but that's okay because you're working them out. And very importantly, we don't want to ignore students' needs. At the end of the day, we're here to teach our students. So if the data shows that students are struggling, well, sometimes reteaching must happen. And if students are excelling, enrichment must be planned intentionally. Now that we've talked about some of the don'ts, let's look at some of the do's. Again, come prepared. Bring student work samples, data reports, assessments, lesson materials. Review the standards before the meeting so the team can start quickly. It's important to kind of do your homework before PLC so that you come in ready to be, productive. Know your class performance trends so that you can actively contribute to the conversation. Staying focused on student learning, again, anchor every discussion in one of the 4 essential questions that we talked about earlier. Keep conversations tied to curriculum, instruction, assessment. For example, ask how does this impact student learning? We need to collaborate openly, share strategies, resources, ideas without any sort of reservation. Practice professional vulnerability. It's okay to ask for help and to offer support. And of course, we've got to celebrate success together as a team. Using data consistently, analyze common assessment data collectively, identify trends, strengths, gaps in student learning, base instructional decisions on evidence, not just on assumptions. Let's define and agree on mastery. Again, that's part of the essential questions there, ensuring that every teacher uses the same success criteria and academic expectations. I mean, that could be in the form of a rubric or, any other form of grading or measuring success. Engaging in reflective dialogue. Again, ask clarifying questions before jumping to solutions. Talk about what worked, what didn't work, and why. Focus on instructional practices and not necessarily, personal preference. Commit to a collective responsibility. Every student's success, own it, not just the students in your classroom. I mean, this is a communal effort here. And of course, we want to document and follow through. So record those decisions, those next steps, those commitments, and hold one another accountable, respectfully, of course. So, where can we grow? This is our chance, for our team to think about how our current PLCs operate. Consider, what you're doing well and where there's room to grow. Ask yourself which essential questions your team struggles with the most, and think about one change you can implement at your next PLC meeting. We have to remember at the end of the day that, small improvements can make a big difference when the whole team commits. So let's think about those essential questions. Let's talk about how aligned are we in our expectations and our grading and definitions of mastery. And of course, how consistently are we using data to guide instruction and interventions? And really, finally, what barriers currently prevent our PLC from functioning at its highest level? And that's our challenge as we go through this PD to focus on these areas and see where we can grow together. Because at the end of the day, we are a community, and so we're going to work together. It takes a village. So I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks a lot.